It's Friday, May 28, 2021. I'm Ephraim Graham, and ahead here on CBN NewsWatch, President Biden releases his first budget plan. We're breaking down the numbers, plus faith in the eye of the storm. A pandemic and severe weather deal a deadly double blow to Tennessee. See how personal pain prepares its governor to help others in desperate need.
That began this remarkable journey, how God uses that most tragic moment to be the most transformational.
Plus, Daniel Ponce de Leon had great plans for his baseball career until a terrible accident nearly strikes him out.
He hits it and, you finish down this way and you go to come back up. You just can't get the glove back up in time. And I remember getting hit and then being a bit stunned.
His incredible comeback story is coming up.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
And we begin with President Joe Biden's first budget being released today. It comes with a $6 trillion price tag. And critics say it is filled with historic levels of spending, sure to face problems on Capitol Hill. Jennifer Wishon tells us more.
Biden previewed his plan at a community college in Cleveland, calling on record spending to keep up with countries like China and Japan.
We must be number one in the world to lead the world in the 21st century.
His spending plan hikes taxes by more than $3 trillion by raising the corporate tax rate, increasing capital gains rates on top earners, and raising income taxes on the wealthy, saying he's focusing on those in the middle and lower income ranges.
The best way to grow our economy is from the bottom up and the middle out.
Still, the New York Times reports he lets Trump-era tax cuts for low earners and the middle class expire in 2025, although those cuts could be extended in the future. His plan includes free preschool for all 3- and 4-year-olds, 2 years free community college for all Americans, subsidized childcare, and a national family and medical leave program. It also incorporates his $1.7 trillion infrastructure plan that Republicans continue to counter.
We're not raising taxes. We believe that the 2017 tax reform contributed significantly to enabling us to achieve the best economy of my lifetime. And that's no small thing.
The president's budget is just a proposal, and it has to get through Congress. And with big spending and deficits over $1 trillion every year, it's sure to face criticisms from Republicans. Some Democrats are likely to have concerns as well. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
This weekend marks the unofficial start of summer, and many Americans are gearing up for travel, putting the coronavirus pandemic behind them as cases have fallen sharply, with more people being vaccinated. 37 million Americans plan to travel for the Memorial Day holiday. That is up 60% over last year, but still lower than pre-pandemic levels. The director of the National Institutes of Health says those who are not vaccinated are still at risk of being infected and passing it on to others.
There are people, because they have cancer and they're on chemotherapy, or maybe they've had a kidney transplant. For them, the vaccine doesn't work because their immune system is not able to respond to it. So they're going to be still really vulnerable if this virus is circulating. The best way to keep it from circulating is for the rest of us who have effective immune systems to get vaccinated.
While travel is on the minds of many, the Biden administration and Congress are investigating the possibility the virus started at a lab in China. We turn now to a story that has many people calling for answers, especially a Louisiana mother. Mona Hardin is demanding justice after the release of videos in the death of her son, Ronald Green. Police say Green died 2 years ago, May 10, 2019, after he resisted arrest and struggled with officers. But Green's mother says she received a phone call back then saying her son died in a car accident after a police chase.
The car was not bashed in. The hood was all intact. The front was absolutely fine. The passenger side had nothing.
The family saw some of the police video back in September, but a recent Associated Press investigation uncovered even more footage, and it's raising more questions because it suggests a different picture of what actually happened. And some are calling Ronald Green's death a police cover-up.
Yes, to cripple him before he even get out, so he would be easy bait for what was coming next. He didn't fight. That's what it shows.
Green's mother says she will fight for justice for her son. Meanwhile, there are reports one of the officers involved in this case is being fired for excessive force in a different incident. Archeologists unearthed a rare find in the city of David with hints to Roman life in Jerusalem after the destruction of the Second Jewish Temple. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl takes us there.
Israeli archaeologists excavating in the city of David uncovered a rare bronze oil lamp buried in the wall of a building along the route.
We have to remember that after the destruction of 70 AD, the entire city of David's Hill that we stand on top of it now, it was no longer part of the city, but the importance of the area, again, is the water in the Siloam pool.
This is the pilgrim's path that led from the Pool of Siloam to the Temple Mount during the time of Jesus. After the temple was destroyed in 70 AD, the Romans still guarded this path so they could access the water in the pool. It's in one of their buildings that archaeologists found a treasure.
The Romans themselves built the structure to guard the water. So we started excavating the structure, and within one of the walls of the structure, we found half of a bronze oil lamp in the form of a theater mask.
Israel Antiquities Authority archaeologist Ari Levy, who leads the excavation along the pilgrim's path, said the half lamp is shaped like a grotesque face and is cut in half.
The lamp itself was inserted to the wall of the structure as a foundation deposit in order to give luck and to protect the structure itself and the people that lived within the structure.
Levy said the lamp could be filled with oil and lit, but it's rare because it's made as a half lamp and they didn't find the other half.
You can theoretically take the other half, connect it, and it will appear as a full face, or you can put it on a wall, just this half, and to light it.
Levy said it shows the significance of the structure.
It's very symbolic, the shape itself and also the location where it was found. The people that lived there needed the water, but they needed to protect the way to the water. It's very exciting. You do not find a find like this every day, not every year, not every decade. It's like a one-time occasion.
He said they have uncovered about 120 feet of the Roman building, and they'll keep digging, hoping maybe to find the other half of the lamp. Julie Stahl, CBN News, along the pilgrim's path in the city of David, Jerusalem.
And for more in-depth stories like this, be sure to tune into Chris Mitchell and the entire Middle East Bureau. You can find them on Jerusalem Dateline this evening on the CBN News Channel at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Coming up, Tennessee's governor extends his hand to help his state climb out from under a deadly string of tragedies, and he's sharing how he found hope after personal devastation. Stay with us.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep as the world watches from the outside.
It's a big diplomatic tug-of-war here in the Middle East.
Go inside the story with Jerusalem Dateline.
Israeli archaeologists are talking about a discovery that could change the thinking about the Temple Mount.
Join CBN Jerusalem Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell and get the biblical perspective on the events shaping the world.
What starts in Israel then ends up going to other places.
Watch Jerusalem Dateline Friday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Tornadoes, floods, and the pandemic. Tennessee's Governor Bill Lee continues to guide his state through tough times, and personal pain has prepared him. He's sharing his story with Tom Buring in the CBN News exclusive.
Bittersweet is better than sweet. For my own life, anyway. You have greater empathy, and therefore you're more engaged in the people all around you.
Bill Lee's acquired taste comes from the empathetic hope after grieving unexpected personal tragedy. It equips him in his first term as Tennessee governor, when historic upheaval hit his state, from tornadoes to a pandemic, as he leads through its lingering effects.
More than anything, uncertainty and fear. What are we being taught?
Yeah, it's been very hard for a lot of people in this country. Fear, loss of jobs, loss of life. You know, for me, loss harkens to the scripture that says suffering produces perseverance, which produces character, which produces hope, which doesn't disappoint. I have a lot of hope for where we're headed. Hope is what pulls us forward.
Governor, take us back to July of 2000 on your property here. And what awaited you?
Yeah, I've lived a life that most men would only dream of living, a beautiful farm and kids and wife and job, and changed in a moment, in an accident, horseback riding accident that my wife had, was cataclysmic, changed everything for the rest of my life. After my first wife passed away, but began this remarkable journey, how God uses that most tragic moment to be the most transformational.
Then the next year, the grief that you went through, agonizing. You suddenly get an urgent call about your oldest daughter, Jessica.
Another helicopter, another trauma unit, another period of shock and grief. I got a phone call at work. My mom told me my daughter had hurt herself, and I didn't know what that meant, and I pressed. She had actually shot herself, but was alive. And it began another incredibly horrific day that led to a remarkable season, frankly. A relationship ultimately with my daughter that I never could have imagined, even until today.
After extended time off with his 4 children, he married Maria Lee 8 years later, a former teacher and track coach, now Tennessee's First Lady.
To those that do say to you, where is God now? How have you reconciled that in your own life?
I've really come to believe that to the degree we are emptied, we can experience fullness. In the midst of the darkest hour, very hard to see God. Sometimes we need others to see him. I opened the pages of C.S. Lewis's book called A Grief Observed. First lines, I never knew grief felt so much like fear. I'm not afraid, but it's as if I were afraid. And as soon as I read that, I thought, oh my goodness, he knows what I feel like. Knowing that there's someone who knows and they're beyond it, and the hope of knowing that God will surely prevail on your behalf is a powerful thing.
I will support the Constitution of the state of Tennessee.
As governor, when you ponder, why me at this specific time, in this specific role, what are you led to believe?
You know, I think every person should ask themselves that. But when you find yourself in a position like this, then you're forced to ask yourself, how can I use where I am right now in the most powerful way to impact people for good? And to honor God in the midst of it, and that he has placed me in this spot, and I don't want to waste a minute of it.
We're in deep political division. What does unifying diplomacy require more of? Forgiveness or humility?
Humility, no doubt. There can be no forgiveness without humility. All of us have pride, and I'm certainly just as broken as any man. Humility is maybe the most powerful characteristic a leader can have, because the combination of pride and power is lethal.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Since placing the weight of your hand on that inauguration Bible, how has this word become more authentic to you in leading?
I found myself when I became governor being very much aware of the fact that I'm not capable of doing this on my own, realizing that more than ever, I needed wisdom and discernment and guidance and insight. It's living and active. His word brings life to every situation.
How is bittersweet compatible?
When life is really short, then you ought to be about stuff that matters. There is no other rescuer than the rescuing arm of Jesus Christ. And when you are in the deepest, darkest place in your life, the moment where you think there isn't going to be a rescue, and he rescues, forever, you know that you have a rescuing arm.
In Nashville, I'm Tom Buring for CBN News.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time, keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
You know, I think as a father, it's my job, to lead. Just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
AAA pitcher Daniel Ponce de Leon began his career with high hopes, but an accident shook those hopes and nearly killed him. Here's Sean Brown.
By spring of 2017, life was shaping up nicely for then 25-year-old Daniel Ponce de Leon. The AAA pitcher had plans to marry the mother of his son, Jennifer. Daniel was having a season he was sure would get him called up to the majors with the St. Louis Cardinals. But on May 9th of that year, one pitch and a one-line drive hit would threaten to take everything, including his life. Do you remember being hit?
Yeah, I remember releasing it, and usually right when I release a pitch, if it's going to be good or bad, and that was one of those, oh no. So he hits it, and, you finish down this way, and you go to come back up, and you just can't get the glove back up in time. And I remember getting hit and then being a bit stunned.
The ball had struck Daniel in his temple, and he was rushed to the emergency room where doctors found he had a skull fracture that was causing a brain bleed, and it was spreading. Part of his skull had to be removed to release the pressure. The surgery went well, but Daniel wasn't out of the woods.
When they were able to put my skull back on, they did and put a pressure monitor in my head to help regulate my pressure, because if it got too high, they would have to retake off the skull, and I would be living with some sort of mesh covering as opposed to my skull.
That meant Daniel would likely have to live with a long-term disability, ending his baseball career. Hearing the news, he asked his father for prayer.
He's the one who led me to Jesus, and so that is my number one man to come into my life.
His father prayed from Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose.
Felt peace. I felt once he got done with praying, I felt calmer. You know, I was a bit, you know, uneasy. And then once just having your dad come over and he like put his arms and his whole body, you know, on top of me.
The pressure in Daniel's brain remained stable, and doctors expected a full recovery. He spent a week in ICU. 2 weeks later, he was able to walk out of the hospital. Even still, he would spend the next 3 months resting with very limited physical activity, time he would use to refocus his priorities, including his faith in God.
And CBN Sports Director Sean Brown joined us now with more. So, Sean, what is life like now for him?
Hi, Ephraim. Yes, Daniel's doing great. I mean, right now, he and the Cards are sitting on top of the NL Central, just above the Cubbies right now. And so they're in a series with the Arizona, with the D-backs over the weekend. So he's doing well, man. He's doing really well.
Good to hear. Tell us about his book, One Line Drive.
So this book is really about a guy who was just on the cusp of making it to the majors, and then his career just gets derailed. And it's about him recovering or bouncing back from that injury, making it to fulfill his dream in the majors with the St. Louis Cardinals. And it wasn't until he really surrendered everything to the Lord. As you heard, his father prayed for him, 8:28, all things work together for those who love God. And so, hey, this is what life is about. It's about recognizing that God's in control. We have our plans, but he has his plans. Jeremiah 29:11 tells us, for God knows the plans he has for us, plans to prosper us, not to harm us. We know that passage. And so here's an example of a guy that had his plan, and God said, no. This is my plan. Just get on my page and watch your dreams come true. And it's really just about how he bounced back, aligned his life with God, and God blessed him for it. Phenomenal story.
Indeed, indeed. One Line Drive is the story. Sean Brown, thank you so much. Much appreciated today. Coming up, Dennis Quaid brings a real-life story of inspiration to a small screen near you. We've got an up-close look at the Blue Miracle and a candid conversation with the actor. It's coming up next right here on CBN NewsWatch.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Wednesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
An incredible story is now streaming on Netflix. The Blue Miracle introduces us to the cash-strapped orphanage whose children partner with a washed-up boat captain for a fishing competition where the winnings could actually save their home. It's a true story. The captain is portrayed by actor Dennis Quaid, who talked to us about this miracle story.
Sorry, but I'm afraid you don't qualify for this list.
What if you team me up with a local fisherman? Doesn't have to be anybody even good. Doesn't even have to be a fisherman. With them? Those kids?
Here's the deal. You and 3 of your least annoying orphans will be on my boat for the competition. When I catch the winning fish, we'll split the earnings. Comprende?
I know why my mom left me now.
Oh, God, here we go.
So I could help you win this tournament.
Of course she did.
Dennis, this is an inspiring story, and you seem to be doing a whole lot more of these type of films, films that sort of push and move and inspire us. What did you learn from this story?
For one thing, that miracles do happen. That's for sure. This was truly that, and where this all came about, it's very humbling. The character I play, he's really pretty much jaded and really into his own ego and for himself, and he has these orphans that are foisted upon him, and I think he learned humility, and in that humility, that's when God does his work as far as miracles go.
And The Blue Miracle is streaming right now, began streaming yesterday on Netflix, based on a true story. Time now for your Friday Faithful. I want to leave you with this. God is in the business of performing miracles. It's what he does daily. If you're in need of a miracle today, believe for it. Remember this. He can do all things except fail. He's never lost a battle, and guess what? He never will. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Thank you so much for watching. I want to remind you, you can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel, and you can find them there at any time. You can also find those stories online at cbnnews.com. We would love to know what you think about any of the stories we've seen here today. You can email us. The address to email us is newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We certainly would love to hear from you. Again, thank you so much for watching this edition of CBN NewsWatch. We encourage you to get out and enjoy the Memorial Holiday weekend. We look forward to seeing you right back here come Monday. Goodbye, everybody. God bless, and thank you so much for watching.
On October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
Administering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
A 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place, all day, every day. The CBN News Channel. Download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com. CBN News.